Are you rolling?
Happy, happy, joy, joy.
I don't see the levels moving.
Because I'm doing it differently. Yeah.
Where's it recording it, though? Well, you can't yell at me because I was right a second ago when it wasn't recording. So I want to double check, and you're like, oh, it is. Well, the time code. Yeah, that doesn't mean anything.
No, it has.
Even Emma knows.
It was recording. You just didn't see the thing going because I didn't click the button that says let Mike see the green light that lets him know that things are happening. But they were happening.
I don't believe you.
It's because you don't know what you're doing.
I do know what I'm doing, and what I know that you should always see VU meters and a waveform forming, and I didn't.
There was a waveform forming, just no VU. You wanted both. Now you have both. Are you happy?
No.
No, because I had to record it with you. I already know where you're going with that. We're all tired of it.
And, no, we're all tired of you. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
If you were a hero, which one would you be? I'm the everyman.
You're not. I am not. I'm the opposite.
You're the underdog. Hey!
I'm definitely against all odds. When you look at me, you're thinking, against all odds, look at
screwed.
that guy.
That guy's never going to win.
He's always wearing a back brace. How does he even walk? Look at him.
Against all odds, I made it to the kitchen for breakfast.
But now I don't feel like making it.
Against all odds, I made it back to bed. The triumph of the human spirit against all odds. Okay, everybody, quiet on the set.
Film robbery. Take 62, probably.
And action. Hello, Film Reverie listeners. This is Michael Beckemeyer, and I am joined, as always, with the...
Good balding Ewok. We're so excited to be here today.
Yeah, and this is our conversation on the 13 heroes.
Yes.
Out of, 13 villains, 13 heroes.
Yes.
This is a list that Brad developed with our, previous guest, KOOGE, who was on another episode. He's on this episode as well.
So when we went to school with KOOGE, he was trying to teach us, he wanted us to be more than, TV producers or video, if we wanted to be filmmakers. He's trying to teach us go beyond that. So he researched and discovered the 13 stories, which we've updated and had a show on. But he also had the villains, but for some reason it just never went beyond that. So when we discussed doing the show, I was like, come on, let's get, you gotta have heroes, right? Villains make the heroes. You can't have heroes without villains, right? There's no reason to be better or to be super or whatever, to go beyond status quo unless there's someone you hate. Like, for example, you and me. I'm the villain, I guess, of the show.
Yeah, and I'm the anti-hero.
Anyway, so we got the top heroes because I don't know if I said this before, but I feel like this stuff is good for research. You got to research the movies in order to, what does Hollywood want? What kind of movies are they making? What kind of heroes and villains are they making multiple movies about? So that's why we're doing this list. And I said, all right, KOOGE, help me with this. And I sent it to him, and then we've worked on it ever since.
Okay, so the general theory is in every movie or in every Hollywood movie, or...
I'd say that I think we're going off of like the top 100 or the top best movies, like basically
like the AFI
yeah,
best, yeah,
like all the movies we talked about in the stories. We broke down who are the different, what are all the different heroes, and I don't know how KOOGE does it, but he always makes it come to 13.
Yeah, I was just about to say, why is it always 13?
That's just a coincidence. The
no,
methodology.
It's not. You did that on... No, that's not coincidence. KOOGE.
The methodology must be something mystic about 13.
No, that's what
the methodology is correct. We looked at the top. We started with the top 100 movies to see if there was a pattern. of heroes, so there were just 100 different heroes. And when we boiled it down, it came out to 13 heroes, just like villains. So it was a match.
Sounds like self-fulfilling prophecy to me.
Yeah,
you decided it was going to be 13, and it's 13.
I do think it sort of is, but every time I try, because before we do a show, I want to make sure that it can stand up to being under fire, scrutiny. So I'm just asking all these, I even at one point I was like, well, these two sound similar, like Underdog and the Everyman that we'll get to later. I was like, all right, I think those are the same. And we even had like Rocky and a couple in two different categories. But
you guys worked hard on this list. I've never seen you guys on the phone so much ever before. Yeah. It's like you guys were back to being best friends.
Yeah. I don't think people understand.
Who's more tired of who? Is Cooge more tired of you, or you more tired of Cooge?
I have no idea. I think Cooge enjoys this.
Oh, Cooge loves this. In fact, we're just gonna let Cooge go. We'll just sit here and talk about what we know about Cooge. Cooge loves the third.
The point is that it stands up to scrutiny, and we went back and forth of should this be here? What's missing? And a lot of work goes into top 10 lists.
Yeah.
All these top 10 lists, whatever you see going around. That's why you and I don't do them all the time, because it's hours of discussion.
This top 10 list has an encore 3 times. 13.
Well, let's go ahead and get to it.
So let's get started.
Yes.
So, Cooge, who wants to give a basic little talk about the,
Yeah, you have
in the past days, there were certain kinds of heroes, and everything was black and white.
Let me say this, that Hollywood, one of the things we discovered as we were going back over it is that Hollywood has had a major impact on heroes. There have been heroes since the Bible, since recorded history. But not only has Hollywood has an impact on heroes, it has had an impact on villains. When we get to even more of an impact on villains than it has on heroes. But let me give you an example. When Hollywood first came out with its heroes, all the heroes were good guys. They wore white hats, they were gratuitous, and they had courage. I think of Atticus Finch from
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, Kill a Mockingbird. I think of Shane. I think of Will Kane. Very characters. But then what started to happen in Hollywood is you got to develop, Hollywood began developing anti-heroes. And by the way, just for everybody understands what an anti-hero is, an anti-hero is a hero that fights for a noble cause but doesn't have all the virtues that you might normally associate with a hero. One of my favorites is Rick Blaine from Casablanca.
Oh,
he
like
does something
like the
very noble.
Almost like the film noir detective is an anti-hero a lot of times.
Right, yes. And Ben-Hur is heroic, but he's on a vengeance thing because he thinks they killed his family. But those, Batman is a perfect example of a vengeful hero, as opposed to Superman, who's a good guy. Superman's going to capture the villain and take the villain to the police. Batman, if he was holding the villain over a cliff, he might let go.
Well, he might let go, but then he'd have something attached to him so that Batman won't let
I've had these conversations with Brad. Batman's not allowed to kill anybody. I want Batman to drop somebody from the roof and tell him, well, it's your fucking problem.
He has a moral code, okay? But here's the thing. Here's the difference between Batman and Superman. Batman will break bones. He will he will let you get hurt. And he will, what do you call it? I don't know if he'll do waterboarding specifically, but, he's like...
He'll do some real damage.
Jack from 24, he's gonna... But he won't kill you, no.
Yeah.
Which is why the villains keep coming back. They break out and come back because he never kills them.
Right.
So let's go to category 1.
Oh yeah, category 1.
We have it in alphabetical order. I put it in alphabetical order so it'll be easy to sort of jump back and forth, especially for those of you that read the attached materials.
Oh yeah, before we go, we want to say if you're listening to this right now, go to our website, sign up for enter in your email for the mailing list, and you'll get a download for this document. You can read along with us.
You have to click on. I guess you can go to this episode and in the post. There'll be a link to download. Just sign up there. Even if you've already signed up, sign up again because you'll get this specific document. And what? You're looking at me
You
confused.
make people sign up twice?
No, well, in order to get this specific document, in order to get the email that says, here's this.
Okay, that sounds like
they have to
okay.
sign up on the thing.
Okay, all right, so we can continue now. Thanks.
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay, so category 1 is Avengers, Vigilantes, and Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can't begin to talk about an Avenger without talking about Avenger number 1, who is God.
Okay, so we'll clarify, we're not talking about the Avengers, the Marvel comics.
They're included in the category, but...
They're included in the category, but it says in the Bible, vengeance is mine, says the Lord. So I think that was the model under which the Avengers came up with. But they're not really Avengers. They are really like justice-seeking people, like the Justice League. I think what happened was DC Comics, 1960, came up with the Justice League. So Marvel, after 3 years, figured out, okay, we've got to come up with something sexier. And I think Avengers sounded sexier than Justice League. In fact, Marvel has always been sexier than Justice League.
Yeah,
sort of like CBS versus ABC.
And it's funny, too, because in the movie world, DC's been playing catch-up to Marvel the whole time. I didn't realize that the Justice League was before Avengers in the comic book world.
Yeah, the Justice League was 1960. Avengers was 1963. I looked it up just for this piece because I was curious.
Sure
I always thought Avengers was first.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Superman in the history of comics. Superman was out before everyone else, really. Superman was one of the first. I think he was the first Superman.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. Google it.
So, some examples of Avengers are, of course, Batman, Ben-Hur. One of my favorites is The Bride.
Yeah.
See, in the movie
from Kill Bill.
Yeah, The Bride doesn't have a name. But,
but
I mean, I think she has a snake name like Mambo or something.
Yeah.
No, I think
the Black Mamba is the person she fights. Yeah.
But she has one of those snake names. They all have snake names, but real names, we call her the Bride.
Yeah.
Uma Thurman.
Uma.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I got the name for my next production company, Angry Uma.
What? Are you doing? Come on.
There's a typo on this list. Han Solo, which must be the German Han Solo.
Well, the typo doesn't exist anymore.
Hans.
Typo's done. Edit it out.
Okay, so Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Princess Leia?
Yeah, she's the category includes vigilantes and rebels as well.
Rebels,
so,
right. Han Solo's a rebel.
Yeah. Peter Quill. Of course, you put in Green Arrow. I've forgotten. I don't really follow Green Arrow.
He's basically like Batman with an arrow.
Oh. Is the Pale Rider about a white cowboy or something?
Yeah, that's Clint Eastwood. From those movies where he comes in and not quite talk about an anti-hero.
Yeah.
Not quite sure whether he's double or, but he's definitely after some vengeance.
Some of the other iconic ones we have are Robin Hood, William Wallace from Braveheart,
Every man dies,
Zorro
not every man truly lives.
lives.
Freedom!
Freedom! Yeah, everybody, come on. Everybody has to see Braveheart. That's a classic.
Yeah.
And the word is, don't bother to see the new Robin Hood. They missed their mark.
They missed their mark.
Yeah, we purposefully avoided that movie and don't plan on seeing it.
I was not surprised to hear that it tanked at the box office, only making $14 million in its opening weekend.
Yes. But he is nevertheless a classic and has done better before. Okay, second is commanders in chief, military leaders, heads
of state.
Yeah, heads of state. So that's a very important category. That has people in it like Abraham Lincoln, Admiral Mintz. Who was in Midway. He's the one that the general. I forgot. I think Henry Fonda played him, who beat four Japanese aircraft carriers and turned the course of World War II. More widely known would be Captain Ramius. Sean Connery played that.
Sean
general.
Connery.
Yes, you got it right.
Yeah. So General, who's General Maximus? What is he from?
That's from. Isn't that from
Gladiator?
Gladiator? Yeah.
No. Gladiator. Yeah.
Gladiator. Okay.
Yeah. He's the one. Of course, all your captains from
Star Trek.
Star Trek. I could have put them all down. My favorite is Jean-Luc Picard.
Yeah.
An Englishman playing a Frenchman.
Yeah, mine too. I mean, but a lot of people are Star Trek firsters. Like, they like their team. What's his name? The original James T. Kirk.
James T. Kirk.
Yeah, but I was trying to remember his name, the actor's name.
Yes.
First Kirkers. I'm making stuff up.
So presidents.
Any president, basically, that with a movie.
That was in a commander in chief. Yeah, one of my favorites is Air Force One.
Yes.
So
that's President Marcy.
Can you give us just a real brief? Why are they a category? Why is there a reason that like kings and presidents and captains are all in the same category?
It's just the reason that it's any category. It's just popularity. A great percentage of our heroes are military leaders, not only in movies but in real life. Going all the way back to like Caesar. In fact, Caesar wrote not only conquered England, but he wrote about it. I came, I saw, I conquered, which of course made him a hero.
Yeah, that's a good summary.
Yeah.
I came, I saw, I conquered. That's why they're all there.
Yeah. Lawrence of Arabia is another one, as well as Spartacus. So, I mean, through all of time, military leaders, I could have put Alexander on there as well, although I don't remember too many movies that he started. But he was one of the youngest. I mean, he conquered the world by the time he was 25. And his mentor was Aristotle.
Oh, yeah. You mean Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great.
Yeah, Alexander the Great.
I didn't know you sound like you two were on a first name basis. You said Alexander.
Yeah.
It took me a second to realize who you were talking about. Alex.
Alex is Michael.
Well, last time we did a show, you said I was old, so I thought maybe.
Yeah, you didn't want to get confused that did you know Alexander the Great? You said I was old.
All right, number 3, we have
doctors, scientists, inventors, explorers. Okay, so such as?
Well,
of course, you have Alexander Bell, Amelia Earhart. Alexander Bell invented the telephone and motion pictures. By the way, that's only true in America. In American history books, Alexander invented motion pictures, but if you look in the encyclopedia, there's a Frenchman that invented motion pictures. So
Right.
same thing with the steam engine and the light bulb. There are other people that invented those things. But in Hollywood, at least, Alexander Bell invented the telephone.
Yeah.
So,
Billion.
Spirit of St. Louis. What was the guy's name? Not Jimmy Stewart. The guy who's playing.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, Charles.
Yeah, his
Charles
baby,
Lindbergh.
his Lindbergh. Yeah, his baby. Is it Lindenberg? His baby was kidnapped.
Right.
Yeah.
Lindenberg baby.
So he was a.
Yeah.
That movie was about an explorer, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That would you could include him on the list.
Yeah.
You can put him on the list now because they did a movie about him.
Indiana Jones is on your list. Yep.
Yeah, your favorite.
Yeah.
Sacagawea?
Sacagawea. If you were about to say you don't know who Sacagawea
No,
is,
I do. Just making sure it looks like it's spelled right.
Yeah,
Who's-
it's spelled right.
Who is Sally Ride, Cooch? You have on this list.
Sally Ride is the first female astronaut.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, Dr. Brown, is that Doc Brown from...
Yes.
Back
What
to
is
the
it?
Future. Back to the Future.
Yes. That's
Don't look
the
at me and
doc-
say, what is it? Like you don't remember the name of Back to the Future.
I'm going to change it to Doc Brown, because that's his nickname.
Drock.
No. There you go.
Doc Brown. Yeah.
That's how everyone knows it, Doc Brown.
So if Doc Brown is a hero in a movie, what is Marty McFly? He's a Doc Brown is the,
he is every man.
oh, okay, right.
And we'll
Yeah.
come to him later. He's
think
just an
that's
ordinary
next.
kid that steps into the adventure of a lifetime.
Yeah, that's
Extraordinary
next.
circumstances, yeah. Well, that was me segueing. You made a big deal about it, Brad, but
I'm going to add Marty McFly to the list.
Okay.
okay. So the everyman, meaning, when I think of an everyman, I think of somebody like Tom Hanks or maybe a Jeff Bridges.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, Tom Hanks has made a career out of playing every man.
Everyman. Yeah.
Yeah, he's made a career. Whether it's when he's on a desert island, castaway. But we've always had Henry Fonda, Jim Stewart.
Yeah.
I mean, your favorite movie is
Yeah.
A Wonderful Life. He's every man.
Yeah, everyman. And I was thinking about even though Harrison Ford has played different types of people, he is like the everyman version of those characters. Like he's the everyman president. Because he's like down to earth, regular guy,
Yeah.
but he's
Yeah,
just
he's-
happens to be president.
He's actually an every man in real life.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, he in fact, he has, I think, saved a lot of people. Like, I think he flies helicopters or planes or
I mean,
something.
he flies
Yeah.
airplanes, but he's almost killed himself thrice
Well,
because
he's too old. He's really too old to fly.
What,
You know.
Coach? Can you really be too old to fly?
well, I mean, he's
He's
up.
not too old to fly spaceships, but too old to fly airplanes.
he's flying around up there by himself, though. Just a couple of
Yeah.
years ago, he was flying the wrong way. He was landing his plane on the wrong runway, and later he's like, "Yeah, I'm the dummy who was running their plane on the wrong runway." While other larger planes were having to swerve out of his way and stuff. Yeah, he plays an everyman, but if you listen to him talk nowadays, he's like Mr. He's really rough around the edges, I guess.
Yeah.
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 He's not.
Also, one. Go ahead.
No, I was saying he's not taking anything from anyone at this point.
Yeah. Let me also mention some of the women. In fact, from the last category, I should have mentioned Marie. What's her name? Marie Curie.
I think it's Mary Carey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Curie. I don't know.
Yeah. She's the French scientist that practically invented radar, and then I think she died from overexposure. But she did a lot of the breakthroughs. But in every woman, you have Belle, Cinderella. If you think about it, they were just beautiful, ordinary girls that wound up in extraordinary circumstances.
Yeah. Could you?
Same with Norma Ray.
Yeah. So, right. Okay. All right. Or the Julia Roberts movie she won the Academy Award for.
Erin Brockovich?
Erin Brockovich, yeah.
Yeah. I think she would qualify. It's interesting. By the way, I want to make sure that to be clear, this is number 4. Number 4 is the Every Man, Every Woman. It's also we didn't state this as ordinary person rising to greatness after being challenged by circumstances.
Yeah.
Yeah, very important. Very important.
Yeah.
So in here
they don't have special skills or superpowers, but what happens is they rise to the circumstance.
Yeah. So you've got a bunch of names, and then you have We Are Marshall.
Yeah, I put We Are Marshall because We Are Marshall is all these kids from this football team died. I'm not sure whether it was an airplane crash or a bus crash. I think it was an airplane crash. And then what they had to do is rebuild the team. And not only was it the team, but the whole community. That's what the story is about. Yeah. So We Are Marshall represents the former bench sitters, cheerleaders, fans, parents, the whole community. So I tried to represent that by saying We Are Marshall, because that was their slogan.
Okay.
It's interesting that you also have Neo as the everyman. He does end up becoming, quote unquote, the one, but only because he believes in himself, or he believes.
Yeah, he starts out as a regular guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's an ordinary guy. In fact, almost all these ordinary people wind up becoming superstars, or heroes, or generals, or like George Bailey. He considers himself poor, and he considers his entire life wasted.
Failure.
Yeah, without value. And the ending of the movie is he is the wealthiest man in town. But wealth is not defined as he's obviously not the richest guy in town.
Yeah.
Or the one that became, his brother went over and became a military hero during World War II. And it seemed to him like everybody was succeeding and he was just stuck when he was actually succeeding.
Yeah.
And became a great person. So the important thing about the everyman story is always going to be popular because it's basically saying that you can be great.
Yeah.
To everybody.
That's one of the reasons why I initially thought that the underdog hero should be included or matched together with the every man and every woman, but we have specific reasons we'll get to later why it's a separate thing. All right, so what's next? We have number 5.
Great artists, musicians, dancers, singers, and performers. For instance, this group is defined by the talent, skill, and struggle of an individual or group who seek to become great and recognized for their genius or fall from grace.
The definitive movie is A Star is Born from Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because it's definitive because they've made that movie 4 times. They made it in black and white. I think the last time they made it, it was with, next to last time, Barbra Streisand.
Yeah.
And Chris Christopherson. And now they've just remade it again with Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga, yep.
Man, she was so good.
Yeah. So that is, and it has both sides of the story. The person that became a star and the person that was a star and became that fell from grace. Let's put it that way. If I were building the story. Yeah. And for those people that haven't seen one of the 4 times they made the movie.
Yeah.
I'm looking at
the same time.
I'm looking at the list here, and most of the movies that would be in this that the hero would fit in this category are seems like biopics or biopics.
Biopics, yeah. And you've got Michael Jackson in there as a hero, but in what movie?
He had the movie Moonwalk. I think it was called Moonwalker. There was a movie. It's like a music video movie.
Well, he did his last movie. This Is It was also made from his rehearsals.
Well,
but it was a bio. It was a biop of the last preparations for the last performance of his life.
But you also have Da Vinci. Who's
Elvis.
Who's the guy that cut his ear off? Van Gogh.
Van Gogh.
I've seen.
Yeah, Van Gogh. Have you seen a movie with him? I wasn't sure. I couldn't remember.
I haven't seen.
Van Gogh would be. Yeah, they just did one with Picasso.
Yeah.
Yeah, Picasso.
They did Picasso, and they also have Jackson Pollock.
Right.
That movie, Pollock, is another artist, rise and fall from grace.
So, so that's what makes this category is like, it's like a tortured artist hero, I guess.
Right.
It's the movie they would make about me.
Like Tina Turner's story. What's love got to do with it?
Yeah, what's love got to do with it?
Yeah.
So what about a movie that is about, like A Star is Born is about that, but they have like these movies that are out like, I don't like the movie Sing, which is that animated CGI movie, but it's all about them putting on a big show, but everybody in there is trying to be an artist or a singer.
Yeah, I think they would fall into, the musicians, dancers, singers, performers.
Okay. Some of them
any
would
movie.
Probably, I was just saying, I think some of them would probably be everyman too, because in every story like that, someone is a average every
guy.
person.
Yeah,
the main character of that movie is an average.
Yeah, character. Every man, every woman.
Yeah.
Well, what you're going to find, we use the same rules that we use for the villains and also for the movies, which is the definitive characteristic. So obviously, there's some that are going to fall into more than one category. Like, for example, you might have a superhero, but he might also be an Avenger.
Right.
Rocky, he's an everyman and an underdog.
Yeah. Yeah. You could describe Batman as a superhero, but he's basically an Avenger because he doesn't really have superpowers. He just has a super mind. He's rich.
A great detective also.
Yeah, which is number 6. That brings us to number 6.
Yeah.
So let's...
Oh, that's a good question. Where should we put Batman? In great detective?
He is both.
Or the
He's always considered, like the comic, didn't the comic come out?
The comic started, it was Great Detectives comic.
Great Detectives, yeah.
He started out as a great detective.
Now I'm going to say he's more of a...
Dark Knight,
an Avenger.
I think he should have a place in both. Yeah. Because he started out as a Sherlock Holmes detective, but now his legend has turned into the Avenger.
Okay, I could buy that because he is unique. You're right. I remember seeing, I can say something you guys can't. I remember seeing the Great Detective cartoon on the stand, and I thought he was I would have thought he was in the Sherlock Holmes category until the movies came out, where all of a sudden he became more superhero-ish. Yeah. And actually became an Avenger. Because there wasn't Avengers when he started. He later became an Avenger.
Yeah. So the category number 6 is it's great detectives, investigators, and problem solvers.
Puzzle solvers,
Puzzle solvers.
I called them puzzle masters because essentially the movies they're in are ones where puzzles have to be resolved. And that's what's driving them. And not only do puzzles have to be resolved, it takes a master detective.
And with that, the first on the category is Ace Ventura.
May I ask you a question?
Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
He's a master of craziness.
Animation. So, you know who's not on your list I'm looking at is Sam Spade. Philip
Yeah,
Marlowe.
Sam Spade could go.
Yeah, Philip, because I only say that because that's my favorite. Maltese Falcon is my favorite.
Well, we can put him on the list
Yeah.
as we're
Thanks.
talking.
I got to contribute to the list, Brad. You know who else is Jake Gittes from Chinatown, which is my favorite film noir.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Why don't you put him in, Brad?
Put him in, Brad.
Sure.
Under J, after Jimmy, because they're in alphabetical order.
Who is Marge Gunderson?
Oh, you know her. She's the detective in Fargo.
Oh, right, yeah. Right.
Who am I putting in?
Jake Gittes. Jake. I think it's Gitties. We might need to double check the spelling on that.
I will.
Yeah, she's the. Is she the only woman on the list?
Yeah.
Going back to.
But you could, instead of
Clarice from
Clarice, yeah.
Silence
Oh,
of the
yes.
Lambs.
Yeah. Starling,
Yeah.
Clarice Starling, yeah. Who's the female detective? But I think she's more of a female detective. She wrote the stories. She wrote Murder on the Orient Express.
Yes.
Yeah.
Angela Lansbury.
No, not Angela. Not Angela.
She wrote Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah. It's,
That's the wrong one.
Yeah, I can't think of her name now. Oh man, I'm gonna have to look it up.
Which I just want to say real quick, the actual movie Murder on the Orient Express, at least the latest one, was terrible.
Yeah, I didn't care.
It was
for it.
really bad.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah.
You know, I like the one. First of all, if you've seen I know how it ends. Unless they changed the ending in Murder on the Express. I mean, the brilliance of that movie was in the solution. Once you know the solution, there's no suspense.
Yeah, it's Agatha Christie, by the way.
Oh, Agatha Christie.
That does sound familiar. Close.
Agatha Christie. She was sort of like the Alfred Hitchcock of novels.
Yeah, I'm just
It's
not.
always like a murder mystery, you know.
And not known too well in America is the hero of Orient Express.
Yeah.
Hercule. He is as big as Sherlock Holmes in France.
Oh. In France?
Yeah, I think he's
okay.
French.
Yeah.
French detective. But Sherlock Holmes, is Sherlock Holmes on this list? Yes.
Yeah, he has to be.
Yeah, he is definitive on the list.
Okay.
And so do you remember who Virgin Tibbs was? That was before you guys' time.
Virgil Tibbs. I never saw the movie.
Yeah.
But I know
he was in the
about it.
heat of the night. And it was a breakthrough because before then you didn't have black detectives. In fact, that was it was like a guess who's coming to dinner. You know, somebody gets murdered and there's a black guy at the train station. He's the suspect. And then turns out, I am Mr. Tibbs. Whoa, that was a moment.
Whoa, that was a moment.
Speaking.
Didn't he say they call me Mr. Tibbs?
They call me,
They
right.
call me Mr. Tibbs.
Call me.
Whoa,
And what is
that was a
amazing
moment.
about that, and the young people that are listening to this might not know them, for a black man to tell a white man, they call me Mr. Tibbs. That was revolutionary.
Yeah.
Because white men of those days only call black people by their first name. And never Mr.
Yeah.
I have a question though. We're talking about detectives. On the next one in the list, law enforcers, number 7, law enforcers, peacekeepers, prosecutors, warriors, law enforcers. By the way, the category number 7 is law enforcers. We're just breaking down peacekeepers, prosecutors, warriors, law enforcers, just so you understand. But
Yeah.
so I see Axel Foley and Dick Tracy, and their characters were detectives, but they don't fit in the category above. Why is that? What separates those? Why are they not great detectives, investigators, problem solvers, and why are they in this category? What makes this different?
Yeah. Normally, what what weighed on my mind, and also Elliot Ness would be in that same category.
Law enforcers, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They and Elliot Ness was an investigator, but basically the story is told more like they are Wyatt Earp characters. They are out engaged in gunfights and confrontations rather than detective
Deducing.
work. Where
Yeah.
they're trying to figure out. Like, for example, if you take Marge Gunderson, even though she does get into a little bit of combat at the end, most of the movie she spent trying to figure out the puzzle.
Yeah.
These guys aren't spending time figuring out the puzzle so much as chasing bad guys, getting in car chases.
And because they're
getting in
chasing the
fights.
bad guy, they find evidence and information. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that makes sense.
And
Mad Max.
Klaatu, some people might not recognize Klaatu.
Yeah, I don't.
Barada Nick too. The Day the Earth Stood Still. Come on, man. Movie history.
That sounds
Yes.
like Klaatu, Veratu, Nektu. Sounds like what the guy said in Army of Darkness
Barada Nick too.
when he messed it up.
Yeah.
Right. What was the name of the movie?
The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Yeah, The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he was actually a law enforcer that came, and in his second movie, he was doing law enforcement. He was about to destroy the planet destroy the people on the planet, save the planet. But essentially, the world had reached a point where it was about to enter space travel, but had not tamed its savage and barbarian instincts. So his message was, get your act together or we'll destroy you. So he's all of these guys are like the new sheriff in town, or the sheriff in town. The sheriff in town is sort of different. I distinguish that different from the detective in town. Now,
go ahead, but I have a couple questions.
Yeah, Marge Gunderson could actually be in law enforcement if she was more active, but she was more mental. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm seeing on number 7, we have Mad Max and RoboCop. RoboCop makes sense, but Mad Max, he was... can you explain Mad Max real quick? Why is he in this category?
His origin, he was a cop.
Oh, that's true. The original, the first Mad Max, he was a cop.
Right. He was a law enforcement guy. Okay. So, and he still had that, now he's wandered off of that.
That's what I was thinking, like the latest one. I'm like, he's not much of an enforcer. He's really trying to avoid conflict with it,
Talking about Furry Road. Mad Max Furry Road.
Furry Road, yeah.
Let's see, he wouldn't be a law enforcement in Furry Road. What would he be? What category would he be in?
So that's another character that could be too, depending on the movie.
He's an everyman. No.
He could be the other category. He could be as an Avenger.
That.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. In fact, that's where we will put him because he also had his family killed or something.
Yeah. Ultimately, his character arc is revenge.
Right.
And he's always trying to get the bad guys who messed up his friends. Yeah. That makes sense.
Okay. Category number 8. Mentors, prophets, saints, spiritual masters, master educators, and angels.
So category 8 is mentors.
Yeah.
But mentors can come in those many forms. Prophets, saints.
Right.
Educators.
Now, who's Father Flanagan?
Father Flanagan.
You got it right. Father Flanagan is the Catholic priest that runs a camp for kids in the 40s during the Depression. Very famous.
Well, let's go over everyone in this category.
Gandalf, obvious. Gandhi, obvious. Jesus Christ.
No.
Oh.
He's in the category.
Oh, I thought this was an exclamation.
Oh.
Jesus Christ, Mary Poppins, Morpheus, Moses.
Okay.
Morpheus.
Yeah, you've got Gandalf, Gandhi.
Is a master.
Yeah.
And
Jesus.
Moses is a spiritual master. And by the way,
okay.
Father Flanagan is in the famous movie Boys Town.
Boys Town, okay. Mr. Jordan, Heaven Can Wait.
Mr. Miyagi, the Karate Kid.
Miyagi, Socrates.
Yeah. So this is the basically, when we talked about the story circle and the mythic structure, if you really want to get in depth on storytelling, the mentor is one of the most I want to say the most popular supporting character in any story. It's essential to the hero's growth, which is why I believe he deserves a category in the hero, because I think every story, yes, it has a main protagonist, but I think there's several heroes. I think anyone that's helping the main hero should be considered a hero as well, especially the mentor who's helping. So I think that's why they deserve their own category. The mentor is just...
Nobody was questioning you, Brad.
I know.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite characters. Like every movie, I want to figure out any movie I'm writing.
I just want to make it clear
I want
to
a
you
mentor
that
in
not
it.
every movie has to have a mentor in it.
No.
You don't like the movie unless it has a mentor.
I do. I don't like a Star Wars movie unless there's a mentor. I want the Obi-Wan and the Luke dynamic.
Yeah. So, damned be creativity. Can never do anything different. It's just...
I guess. Yes, I'm wrong.
It's funny because
by the way, it's a powerful tool for an empowerment movie. Usually, you will find a mentor in a movie that is teaching empowerment.
Yeah.
Because the empowerment, you can of course be empowered many ways. One way is by trial and error. But if you're doing a movie, it's going to be more efficient to have somebody tell you, like in The Matrix, like Morpheus of The Matrix, yes, jump. And then when you don't make it, well, everybody fails the first time. Or otherwise, you could go in circles.
Yeah. All right, so let's get on to the next category.
Rescuers, protectors, and defenders.
Yeah, number 9.
So it's weird to see Die Hard as the definitive example, but then to look just 2 names down and there's Atticus Finch again, but he is a
defense attorney. He's
a defender. Yeah.
He's a defense attorney, and what makes him so significant, he's a white defense attorney that's risking his career and his status in the community by defending a black man.
Yeah.
And this was the age, for those that haven't seen this movie, that even at the trial, black people could not sit in the audience. They had to sit in the balcony.
Yeah. Upstairs where it was hot. That's all I remember. Yeah. I just read the book for the first time ever.
Oh
man, that book is deservedly in the right place, described as the great American novel. It's amazing, and you're listening to it. It reads so well. It's almost like a historical document, and you're thinking, and I'm thinking, I cannot believe that's how things are, whatever. Any of that stuff. But it's so well written and the world is built so well. And Atticus Finch, man, who would not want Atticus Finch as their dad?
Yeah.
Or grandpa, something.
Yeah. Well,
he could almost fit as a mentor also, even though he doesn't really serve that purpose. He does kind of serve that purpose in the book and in the movie. They're always asking him questions, and he's trying to tell them how to do their thing, But
that's
Well,
not
there's no
his.
question.
Yeah, that's just not his
That's
definitive
not,
role.
but that he's a role model. And in
model,
fact, there was a great deal of controversy when, after all of these years, I think after almost 50 years, a sequel came out.
Yeah.
And in the sequel, he is an anti-hero. So, if you read the To Kill a Mockingbird, he doesn't have any flaws.
Yeah,
But in the sequel, he has flaws and prejudices as well.
Yeah.
Which is why I haven't read the book, because I don't want to destroy the character.
There was controversy about the book, which, by the way, I think wasn't it written in the 50s? So we're talking like 70 years almost.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I would. But there's some controversy.
I read it 50 years ago. You're right.
Controversy over whether she even really would have wanted it put out. Like it was maybe even considered like an early draft of the book, and she didn't. She never released it before, but once she was senile and sort of had dementia, suddenly the book comes out. You know.
Right.
But she never really wrote another book. She's like, it's sort of get out while you're ahead, quit while you're ahead. I've already written To Kill a Mockingbird. What else do you want from me?
I just wanted to clarify this category: rescuers, protectors, and defenders. Basically, this archetype we describe it. So long as there are bullies, thugs, and bad guys, there will always be a need for the rescuers, protectors, and defenders, which is why they're so popular in movies. And the ones we have on the list here: Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. Atticus Finch we talked about, Buzz Lightyear from
Infinity and Beyond.
Yeah, Infinity and Beyond. Conan, Godzilla. Even though he's a monster, he is a protector of Earth. I don't think he originally started out that way, but now that's his arc. Is he's always defending Earth from the bad guys. Some people and humans get killed in the process, but he's stopping the bigger threat.
But KOOGE, you can't have Magnificent Seven on here without putting on the Seven Samurai. Come on.
That is true. That's
I mean, Magnificent Seven wouldn't exist.
That's what they do.
If not, Magnificent Seven is
it's
the Seven Samurai.
American remake of Seven Samurai.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, and Terminator 2.
Who produced Seven Samurai?
Akira Kurosawa.
It was, who directed it was Kurosawa. Akira Kurosawa.
Yeah, Kurosawa. Okay.
I don't remember the name of the studio, if that's what you're asking.
No. I was asking, yes.
Kurosawa. The greatest director to ever have lived.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this, by the way, this next character.
That's hard for me to say.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
The T-800. In the original Terminator, he was the villain, the relentless.
Right.
We haven't done the villains yet, but we'll tell you where he is on the villains list. But in Terminator 2 and after, the T-800 is the protector, the defender.
Yeah.
One of our favorites, because I love Arnold. That's my favorite Arnold role, I think, of all time, is Terminator.
Oh, yes. No question.
So Woody, you think Woody falls into the protector and rescuer as well?
Yeah, in the first Toy Story, he's the one that leads the rescue team.
That's true.
I mean, I think Buzz Lightyear is the one that was stolen away or somehow has to be rescued.
Yeah, he gets sent back to the store somehow. I can't remember anymore.
Right. Then we have category number 10.
Yeah.
Social change activists. That's your civil rights champions, your labor leaders, and your crusaders. Every movement begins with one man or one woman choosing to stand for something, agitating or inspiring others to follow them. And there's the list.
Right. So you have Gandhi on this list as well, which is actually closer to what he does in the movie Gandhi. He's the agitator.
Right.
But you also have him as a spiritual leader. So
I think in real life he was in his later life he was a spiritual leader.
Yeah.
But no question, he led a civil rights movement in South Africa. In fact, he practically got thrown out of South Africa after staging civil rights demonstrations for Indians. And then, of course, he did nation building and got killed for it in India.
So also Harriet Tubman on the list. Harvey Milk. That movie came out a few years ago, I think.
Is it Sissy Spacek, the coal miner's daughter?
Yes.
Yeah. Or no, it was it's not Sissy Spacek. It's Forrest Gump's mom.
I don't
Sally
know.
Fields. Didn't she have a thing where she like yelled at the union? I can't think of the movie she won the Academy Award for.
I'm not gonna take it anymore.
No, that's Mad as Hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. That's Network.
I just want to give a disclaimer to the audience that this is always a work in progress. I mean, we've had these lists for a long time, and every time we revisit them, there are new movies that have come out so we're always adding to and making this better.
Norma Ray. Norma Ray is what I was thinking about.
Okay. Yeah, she's a social activist. Yeah.
Yeah, social activist.
Yeah, she fits in there.
Agitator, and not just the way you agitate people, Brad.
Just by living. Just my presence. I mean, even when we're out, I go to a fast food restaurant, people are like, oh.
This guy again. It's like Del Griffith, the shower curtain ring guy.
Yeah, so we have Mandela, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Spartacus, Susan B. Anthony, Thurgood Marshall. They've all had movies.
Yeah. You know who we're missing from this? I just saw her new series, Jane Fonda in 5 acts, by the way, which is spectacular, if you haven't seen that on.
Okay.
But one of the things that movies that hit me is the China Syndrome, because she was a crusader in that movie.
Oh, okay.
But I'm trying to remember her name in the movie.
Well, I'm going to go to the next one, number 11.
Okay.
Superheroes. In this category, we got super athletes, super powered heroes. I guess, all of these superhero movies we've been seeing. Kong fits in here. Just about any martial artist in a kung fu movie or martial arts movie, they do things that regular people can't do.
Yeah, you could just say Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah.
Chow Yun Fat.
And
walking on the bamboo trees and stuff.
Correct. But you also have royals in this category, KOOGE. Is that because they're so powerful, they're untouchable? Can you explain this?
Essentially, this is your glamour category. It's like your superstars, your superhero superstars. This is the bigger than life category.
Okay.
And royals are played that way. So that's how they made the category. Everybody in this category is in a celebrity, a hero.
Okay. Babe Ruth, Black Panther, Captain America, King Arthur, Muhammad Ali.
The Secretariat, who's a horse.
Secretariat, the horse.
Of course.
Superman, Wonder Woman.
A horse is a horse, of course.
Yeah, okay.
You can put Lassie in there, too.
Lassie.
Lassie's not an underdog, but he is a dog. I'm an idiot.
We know.
Speaking of underdogs, that's our next category.
Usually one with a unique skill or gift and the willingness to take on all odds because it is right, their destiny or their dream. In the beginning, the members of this group know that they are outnumbered, overmatched, and unlikely to succeed. They know that the race generally goes to the fastest and battle to the strongest. What makes them heroes is they decide to go for it anyway against all odds, logic, and reason.
So
they all had faith that if they leaped, the forces of good will come to their aid, and it did.
So this is the triumph of the human spirit against all odds, aka the underdog.
Right.
Yeah, Captain Jack Sparrow, does he fit here, or is that just something I put in there? He was a pirate, but he wasn't. He was a reluctant hero in a way. I don't know.
Yes, but he's a underdog because he's basically just one.
Yeah, he
he's
starts out with nothing, like no ship, no
Right.
crew, no nothing, and then he just fumbles his way into, oh, now I have a ship and I have everything and going after the thing I want.
Harry Potter, Karate Kid, Neo from the Matrix, Norma Ray, who we just talked about, Rocky Balboa, Titans,
The Titans from Remember the Titans.
Oh, okay.
But, well, see, now, Karate Kid, you would think would fit in maybe the everyman.
Yeah.
But the reason why...
He's an underdog from the start. He's getting the shit kicked out of him and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because it's the triumph of the human spirit that really makes this category. Like Rocky Balboa, the first one, it wasn't even about winning. It was just about, going the distance.
Yeah.
And that's really the underdog. One of the keys to the underdog hero story is to just don't give up. Never give up. You can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So the underdog, yeah.
Which, by the way, and I talked about this on the Movieisms we did. That when Rocky Balboa to me is like the definitive underdog because that movie created that whole moment of getting beat up, and it looks like you're about to be out, and then all of a sudden you just draw on power from the universe, and then you're just invincible to beat the bad guy at the last second. So to me, that's like the underdog story arc.
So Empire Strikes Back, Empire Strikes Back, he's no longer an everyman or a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed whatever. He's actually an underdog in that movie because they can gang up on him. Luke Skywalker, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So category 13 is wrongly accused, falsely imprisoned, fugitive good guys. To be wrongly or unjustly accused is a tragedy. To fight, run, to seek, to clear one's name, endure prison, escape injustice, or endure death with dignity is heroic. So these are characters like Andy Dufresne from The Shawshank Redemption, the Central Park Five, Count of Monte Cristo, John Coffey, which is the Green Mile prisoner, Sirius Black, who is one of my favorite characters in movies or books, like ever.
It's a melancholy.
Thelma and Louise, Toby, Howard, Hell or High Water.
I still haven't seen that yet.
You haven't seen Hell or High Water?
No.
Oh, you got to see that.
I will.
That is really, really good. Unexpectedly good.
Wait. So do we have the definitive? You got Harrison Ford from The Fugitive. Is he? Yeah. Oh, Richard Kimball.
Richard Kimball. Yeah.
It wasn't me. It was the one-armed man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely definitive.
By the way, when they remake this, you should not go audition for that part. Because that's not how it should sound. That's not how it should sound, Brad.
And for the people that were listening earlier, Kimberly Wells is the reporter in the China Syndrome that Jane Fonda plays.
Oh, okay. Well, that's our list of the 13 heroes.
Yeah. Do you agree? Are we right? Are we wrong?
We make it a list not to say that any character has to be exactly one of these or other, but use this as knowing this is what's worked before. This is what works, and this is what people have. Like the Rocky thing is like most prominent in my mind. It's like, it's amazing to me that they can. When we saw Creed the other day, I kept saying to Brad, it's amazing to me that they can make that movie and people will still go see it, even though we know how it's going to end every time. He's going to win the fight.
He's going to get beat up first. He's going to lose, and then he's going to come back.
He's going to go train underwater and throw some punches. And this time, he wasn't hitting a punching bag. He was hitting tires. Like, that makes him a better fighter. It's just raw, rough around. It's like CrossFit, like hardcore, like real training.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's just what works. It's just what's worked for people before. There's a satisfying sweet spot that a lot of these characters fall into for mass audiences. Mm-hmm. And they just like to see it, like Die Hard, Tom Hanks, any of those things that pop in your head. Like if you And when you're watching a movie that you like, or go look at your favorite movies and figure out what your main hero is.
Ultimately, and this is why we put Hollywood in the title of these. Hollywood uses formulas. And that's why we're encouraging and now analyzing movies, and that's why we're doing these lists, because in order to be a good writer, in order to write things that Hollywood will pay you to write, you need to be able to analyze these movies, figure out why, and we've done a lot of the work for you.
Yeah, at least in this, but there are thousands of movies we didn't mention.
Yeah.
Just think about it. And the thing is, it's not to say, look, here's the fill in the blank. It's not intended to be a fill in the blank method to writing.
Yeah.
It is a look, think about what the character or hero or whatever is supposed to be in your mind, and just you have like 100 years of research of like other movies that have done well, and you can go start to dissect them and figure out how you can hit some of those, check some of those boxes in your own thing. It doesn't mean just make it hey, this is the Rocky character, and you don't have to write good dialogue, good story. You don't have to come up with any of that stuff. And really, it doesn't mean with the stories we were talking about in the previous episode. It doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't require good writing, or that it's just a paint by numbers sort of a thing. But if you know what, where the sweet spots are, you can aim towards them in your like twists and turns of your story and plot and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me also add this, because it explains why I had to come up with these in the first place. And that is, an important part of a movie is selling it. There's something called a pitch. In fact, you have to have what is called an elevator pitch, where you can sell the movie in 30 seconds or 60 seconds, while you're an executive or you're in the elevator, let's say, with a multimillionaire. And the way you sell the movie is through analogies. For example, to say, well, this is a Rocky type movie, or this is a everyman hero, or but the people that the principle in Hollywood is this: if it works, do it again and again and again.
Ad nauseam.
So this works against the instinct of most first-time writers and producers who walk into my classroom, and the first thing they say is, I want to write a story that's never been written. I want to develop characters that, nobody's ever seen before. You're not going to sell that.
Yeah.
It does not sell.
Yeah.
These characters sell. These superheroes we just talked about sell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And on the next episode, the key to a great hero is a great villain. I mean, honestly, because you need something to make the hero be better than they are normally, to be super. We need a reason for the hero to be super. So we have our villains list on the next.
I would say that even stronger. The key to a great movie is a great villain.
Oh, yeah. Don't we just love villains sometimes?
Yeah, man.
I mean, you can
most
tell
James Bond
a
movies
good
are.
James Bond movie.
Yeah.
You can remember the name of the villain.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are the James Bond movies that I don't like are because the villain sucked. I want an awesome villain in my James Bond movie. Yeah.
Skyfall was the last great James Bond villain.
Yep.
Javier Bardem. Well, that's it for this time. We will be back next time, probably with another interview show. But coming soon, not long after that, will be our 13 villains.
Yep.
And we'll continue on from there. KOOGE, thanks for coming on again.
It's my pleasure, guys.
Yeah, and Brad.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Why am I here?
Yeah. And, okay, so that's it for this time. Until we talk to you again, go make something.
The end.
And cut. Film Reverie Podcast is a production of Super Mega Ultra Entertainment and is produced by Michael Beckemeyer and Bradley Kingston.
If you're enjoying this podcast, please be sure to leave us a 5-star review in iTunes. And visit filmreverie.com to listen to past episodes, and be sure to click like or subscribe wherever you find us. That's it for this time. We'll see you again next week with another episode of Film Reverie.